Welcome and sorry, wait. Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar. And in this occasion, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yudi Rawidiatma. I'm in Tehran right now. I'm studying medicine in Tehran. And in this very special time, I will be your master of ceremony about this webinar. That is the how to get scholarship research project on international university. Okay, first of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy so we can attend and participate in this special event without any obstacles. And praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light from the darkness in this life. Okay. So I would like to welcome our speakers today. First is Mr. Ayodhya Pradipta Tenggara as our key speaker. And the second is Mrs. Dwi Melini as our educational speaker. And the third is Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridha as our transformational speaker. And I would like to welcome also all of the audience from YouTube and from the Zoom meeting. Okay, so on this special occasion, we have several agenda as follows. The first one is the opening, and the second one is opening speech from President of IPI Iran, and the third is the main lecture that is from Mr. Ayodhya Pradipta Tenggara, and the second lecture will be from the educational speaker that is from Mrs. Dwi Melini, and the third lecture will be from Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridha as our transformational speaker today. And there will be a Q&A session after those three lectures, and the last is closing will be guided by President of IPI Iran. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin this event by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, and move on to the next agenda. That is the opening from President IPI Iran. So, Mr. Andi Muhammad Mutahari, time is yours. Okay, sorry everyone. I think Mr. Andi Muhammad Mutahari is not available, and okay. So, okay, the opening speech will be from Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridha. So, for Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridha, time is yours.
Hello, are you there? May you hear me?
Yes, I can hear your voice now. Okay, yes, yes, it's clear. How about my voice? Could you hear mine?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for you all to attending this webinar. I'm here to guide you to introduce our webinar to you because it's our contribution from Indonesian Student Association in Tehran, in Iran, in Islamic Republic of Iran. So right now it's time for you to learn how to get scholarship, especially in research project. So from our department, I give you a time for enjoy this webinar, and thanks for you all. Thank you. Mr. Yodi?
Oh, sure. Thank you for the opening. Let's go on to the next agenda. That is the main lecture delivered by our key speaker today. That is Mr. Ayodhya Pradipta Tenggara. And before we start, I would like to briefly point of his curriculum vitae. So, Mr. Pradipta Tenggara, He is a senior researcher at Sungkyunkwan University, South Korea. He was the awardee of Erasmus Mundus Master Course from Uni Europe in 2009 till 2011. And he also grants some awardees from South Korean government, such as National Research Foundation or NRF in 2012 till 2016, and also the Brain Korea Grant in 2012 and 2016. Okay, so that is a brief of his curriculum vitae. So without any further ado, let's welcome Mr. Ayodhya Pradipta Negara. Sorry, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Yudhibra Widyatama, and also Mr. Sheikh Ahmad, and all other speakers, especially Ms. Winnie Dwi Melina, and other speakers, other viewers. I would like to greet you with the Islamic greeting. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And also we ask Allah to give a blessing for Prophet Muhammad SAW and his holy progeny, as well as the devout companions. And today I will introduce a little bit about my experience and share our view and learn together from our experience. And actually, I already share my slides to Mr. Ridho. Which one I should present, using my site or using your site? Which one is better?
May you share your PPT?
Okay, give me a second, please. Okay, this is my presentation. Actually, this presentation just mainly to share my experience, how I could get a kind of a scholarship, as well as the working in research and development in the company. Actually, I want to correct a little bit little thing. Now I'm not a senior research engineer anymore in Korea, because now I'm starting my work or my job as a lecturer or docent in Gajah Mada University, Department of Nuclear Engineering and Engineering Physics. I just start last month after I resigned from my previous company in NJET. Actually, I was a senior research engineer in NJET, but previously I did my PhD as well as a research assistant in Songkyunkwan University. However, it's a kind of the one set of my experience that I will introduce to you in next slide. And actually, just first, as I told you, now I'm in Gajah Mada University, but previously from 2005 until 2009, I also studied in Gajah Mada University. And actually, it was a kind of long time ago. And if your chairman of IPI, Mr. Andi Muhammad Mutahari, I knew when I met him sometimes in Yogyakarta when he was in childhood. As I remember, his name is Hari, and I know his father, Andi Muhammad Safwan, and it's really inspiring me when I did my educational program in Gajah Mada University. Because as you know, Gajah Mada is one of the oldest university in Indonesia. And in Gajah Mada, we learn not only about the science and technology, but also we learn about how can we implement our knowledge into the society. In this picture I show you, actually it's during the field work or kuliah kerja nyata in one of the province called Gunung Kidul. Actually, we try to apply the technology that we have in nowadays. It's especially in engineering physics, we develop a renewable energy based on the solar cell. So at that time, we try to install the solar cell for the people in the village in order to pump the water from the lower altitude into the higher level, because in that location they have a problem to get the fresh water, or we can say a kind of the clean water. So because of that program, now they could receive the water by, freely, because at the time the project was sponsored by the one of the Australian institute. And next, I continue my education in Europe under the Erasmus Mundus scholarship program. And at the time, I spent in 2 different countries, in France as well as in Italy. At the time, I did more, not only in engineering, but also in science. It's called mathematical modeling in engineering. And in that, during 2 years of my master program, I got very valuable experiences. First, I learned that how the Europe people especially has developed the science, especially in mathematics, in physics, in engineering, very great. But also they try to combine with the cultural program. In Erasmus Mundus, mainly they give a scholarship from for the countries outside the Europe, and also as well as the Europe, but mainly the full scholarship before outside the Europe, in order to introduce the educational system in Europe, as well as to have a cultural exchange. If you see in this picture, I spent my studying time with other people from Guatemala, from Ukraine, Mexico, Colombia, was Bulgaria, as well as Venezuela. And then and this is my Professor Bruno Rubino, and then we learn a lot of things. We also have fun to have the tour. And this picture is in Gran Sasso. It's one of the important place to for the physics research in physics. If you have listen about the God particle or neutron particle, it's the location is there. It's not my field, but I'm quite proud that I have been in camping there. Another part is the last, and it's very important. I spent a lot of time here from 2012 until 2018 in Songkyeong University. At the time, it was in Korea, says South Korea. South Korea is really how to say, it's really developed related to science in related to research in science and technology, as well as especially in nanotechnology. At the time, if you may know, then I got the scholarship from National Research Foundation of Korea, which is sponsored by the Ministry of Knowledge and Economy. And at that time, I also had opportunity to have a collaboration with people, not only in Korea, but also in other countries. This is when I graduate together in 2018 from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Songkyeong University. This is the South Korean. His name is Dr. Hyung Dong Lee, or Hyung Dong Pak Sanim. And this is from Pakistan, Dr. Said Ali Turaf Jafri. Ali Turaf Jafari, yes. And this one, we had also collaboration together. And I also will share to you about my experience there. And it's really amazing because the research is not only sponsored by the government, but also by the companies. And mainly, you know about Samsung, mainly Samsung Electronics also sponsored our research. And at that time, we also learned how to implement a kind of the research concept, the science, into the practical application in industry that I will explain later. And mainly the other sponsor is NJET, or this is the, we can say it's a part of the small medium enterprise, which was built by my Professor Pyong Toyong. And then, so we had a kind of the collaboration between the laboratory, my lab, with the this company. And this is what we did experience in the company. Actually, that's also after I graduate, I continue my career as senior research engineer in NJET. Mainly the research is related to the display technology. So everybody knows about and everybody, I think many people are using mobile phones and the display. display is like television, and we had a kind of the specific research. How can we improve the fabrication process using our technology called induced electrohydrodynamic inkjet printing? It means that we want to build a technology, a system, as well as the process, how to make the process of the fabrication of the semiconductor or the display, the electronics to be more efficient, as well as to do environmental friendly. That is the goal. So we work hard. And also another quite unique is in NJET, the CEO or the owner is my Professor Pyong Tuyong. And then the CTO is from Vietnam, is my senior in our lab is Dr. Budat Nguyen. And then it's a kind of, he's from Vietnam. The collaboration is going well, but sometimes we have a hard time to work because in Korea, the tension is really hard. So everything needs to be done quite fast, but it should be right. And mainly our customer is the big company like a Samsung, like a LG. They have the main technology, and they want us to show the very good results to solve their problems. Everything there is a problem, there is a feedback from the customer. There is a kind of the how to say compensation from our side in order to balance their requirement from the research. That's why in the company, although it's a production mainly for the manufacturing, but the research is the key component, because without the understanding the basic, without understanding the concept, we cannot solve the problem completely. So this is the research team that we spend with our CEO, Professor Doyong Dion, and then it's the student that I also spend, and it's really a meaningful experience. And in this picture, actually, two Indonesian are here. This Dr. Hadi Tugu Yudhistira and also Dr. Martin Darmawan. Both of them now are in also Indonesia. Dr. Hadi, he is in Institute of Technology Sumatera in Lampung, and Dr. Martin is in Catholic University, Atmajaya Catholic University in Jakarta, and we have a great team there. So I don't want to talk more about the introduction, but mainly this is the documentations that I also experienced when I did my education and also in research. Mainly I spent in Songkin University, and also we had a collaboration with other institute, KAIST, Korean Advanced Institute of Technology, and also this research mainly related to the research in the science, applied physics, mechanical engineering, technology. However, I will talk mainly because I know the speakers, our audience are not only in the natural science or engineering, but also in social science, in humanitarian, and also in medical science. There are a lot of broad things. So we will talk in general how to prepare. Is to prepare mainly if we want to be a researcher in university, or we want to be a researcher in a company or other things. There are many places to do research. It's like in university, in a research center, or in a company for sure. But also if you are in non-government organizations, also it's important. If you also work in the government, for sure, also the research is important. And then the thing is, before I talk about the technical detail, it's important to have the principles. That the principle that I think this five principle is important is a responsibility. In Korean word is 책임. It means that we how to say, we are willing to responsible, we are going to take care, and we want to care everything of our work. So means that the works it belongs to us. It's a kind of like a parents to have a responsible to the child, to the children, to his children. Means that he will do everything the best to complete his work, although for sure the limitation exists, the challenge, or sometimes they have a kind of the bad moods to do. But if the commitment is there, so means that the work will be done responsibly by him. Another thing that everybody knows, the disciplines, the consistency, the independent means that they should be kind of the, it doesn't rely everything with other people. They should have a kind of the independency by themselves, and respect is the means that how to say, we respect other people. We will treat other people as we want other people treat us. This is a respect, and then persistence mean that work hard. Okay, in Indonesian we call it tekun. We call so means that we if there is a distraction, we can go back to our main goal. So this is really simple, and then everybody knows it doesn't matter the race, the religion. This principle, I think everybody will accept, and then every community will accept if they use a kind of the good intellect. Another technical details is sorry, before, yes, good attitudes in Korea, especially because I spent in Korea around 8 years. Is although sometimes they're angry, sometimes they push us, but if we try our best, they will say good jobs. In Korea, will say, I mean, I will just tell you like 잘했습니다, 잘했어요, or yes, good job. Or they also sometimes they will say 고생했어요, 고생하셨어요, means that you have work hard, so I appreciate you. Yeah, that's appreciation. It's sometimes or many times it's really important to motivate people. But for sure, it doesn't mean that if the work is not done well, means that we need to do also like very good. So we need to be objective, I think. And yeah, this why I prefer research plan. I think it's two things that I want to tell. If someone wants to do research in everywhere, is first explore your interests. Interests. Everybody has the interest based on the education, based on the work, jobs, or other thing like academic. Everybody can. I mean, everybody who knows mathematics, science, social science, and other things by they studied in school or by reading book or many. For sure, they should explore. They can focus. I'm sorry, this one should be explore, not explore. Okay. And another thing that hobby is also important, because if they have activity in sports or in arts, like the football or music or painting, or they have a kind of the hobby for the humanitarian work, it's also valuable. And to combine it with the community, like for sure, like the IPI Iran, Indonesian Student Association in Iran, or in Japan, International Student Association is so important. Or you have the other community that can actualize your idea, can actualize your principle as well as your commitment there. But for sure, that's why I mean, explore your interest by choosing the good community, and fix your hobby. Another thing that update with the current issues, the research trends. For sure, research trends are so many, and then many people will know market trends and social issues. For example, like now we have seen the international issue when one small countries but with the big research try to oppress other people in other countries. This is very important issues. It's not, I mean, not only related to the international policy or the, but also it can be related to the science itself. How, I mean, we know that they are oppressor, but we also can learn from them how they built their military system, how they learn. This based on the research. It's not only because they, I mean, they got by buying, they have money, but also the human research, and also the what's the name, the human research and the research project is really amazing. And Also, market trends. Actually, the market is a really important feedback for us to do research. As my experience when I did the research in the display technology, for sure we know we need to know the trend of our cost. I mean, for the people, how they use the gadget, the device, and then how they needs, and then what. For example, like 10 years ago, the touchscreen is not as much as now. So the touchscreen itself is really involving, and then without knowing the trends of the people, it's not. I mean, it's difficult to upgrade to be developed. Oh yeah, for sure. Like the in medical or yeah, medical like the COVID-19 is really also the things that we need to yeah to care about. It's related to the humanity. So everything, I think, is two things to explore your interests and then update the current issues is two things that make the idea of the research, the motivation will be growth. Another thing that yeah prefer personal introduction and find references is the technical things that to prepare formally for your career as a researcher. Personal introduction, it can be informal or formal. It's in we know everybody about CV for sure. In personal introduction, it's important to show your educational background, work experience, or a kind of the summary of your skills, language, and the photo pictures. Don't forget to it's important. And then be I mean put the picture to be clear so people who read your document can understand and can know as I mean if he or she is meeting with you. And it's not necessary to be formal, like the informal is so important, but the important thing is kind of to show that you are serious, you are professional, you have a commitment to the research. Another thing is the personal introduction is to show you with the description. In the description, it can vary with other depends on the we can say the stakeholders what they want to know from you. Yeah, everybody knows about this introduction, and don't forget to show the your identity or the address. Email address also is important, and to show about your background, about your maybe your research interest as well as your motivation to join with them. This is I can show you. This is in Indonesian or it's in English. Another thing is the reference is important. So someone who work together with you, your supervisor, your boss. As I mean, don't forget when you are working or after work, uh, have a good connection with them, and then try to to get the recommendation. Recommendation can be a kind of the formal letter like this, or in LinkedIn, or in ResearchGate. You can ask them to write recommendation, and then it's we can do more if you have more supervisors. Supervisor can be your lecturer also if you are in undergraduate, if or someone uh, you work for him. And then social media is also important. I recommend to use this one. I mean, LinkedIn and ResearchGate if you want. Facebook or Instagram also can be useful, but in Facebook and Instagram sometimes it's mixed with the other communities. So for mainly the research and education, LinkedIn and ResearchGate are the best thing. And then I just want to show you kind of the LinkedIn. Don't forget to show your picture as well as your background to show a kind of your interest. This is actually is one of the part in South Korea. And now everybody, I mean, when read my name and also this one lecture means that now I'm a lecturer in Gajah Mada University. This is also education. So in LinkedIn also you can see the kind of the job requirements, recruitments, not only in research but also in industry. And then in that one, don't forget to show your work experience or research experience in LinkedIn, and everything is already available. So just try to improve, and then after you get feedback, be open to discuss and find a new issue, current issue behind the research and trend market. If we can have a detail, we can talk more, but I suggest to use this Scopus in Google, especially who wants to do research by observing the journal, the research trend, as well as, and one thing is the market trends. I'm still working, learning for the market trends, because now if the researchers only focus on the academic without knowing related to the current issue, especially the market, but the social issue, their scope is really limited. So be open and then try to explore more every time and every day. I think it's just my short introduction for sharing. I think it's better for us to discuss in the question and answer, and also I also want to get your feedback. Thank you very much, Kamsahamnida. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Such a great lecture from Mr. Ayodhya. So yeah, as you know, he has a great experience in, I think most of them in South Korean. So you know how to speak Korean or something like that. So that is so interesting. And he also shared about his 5 principles: that's responsibility, discipline, independence, respect, and persistence. And like you know, guys, if you want to have like a good university project, like from Mr. Ayodhya, he said that we have to explore our interests, prepare our personal intro, find references, and and stay updated with current issue. So thank you, Mr. Ayodhya, for the great lecture. Okay, I hope all of us could get benefit and value from your lecture. Okay, sure, for sure. Okay, move on to the next agenda. That is the second lecture from our educational speaker. That is Mrs. Finny Dwi Melanie. So Mrs. Finny Dwi Melanie, she is now a lecturer in Faculty of Economic and Business of University of Muhammadiyah Palembang. She was studying master degree of Economic Development and Policies at Kobe University with a grant from Asian Development Bank, or ADB. And she also awarded as the best authors of several books, such as Everyone Can Study Abroad on January 2021, buku Sahabat Mahasiswa, 23 cerita perjuangan pelajar Indonesia menuntut ilmu di Jepang, November 2020, and Jejak Kisah Arsitek Peradaban on October 2019. So, okay. Without any further ado, let's welcome our educational speaker, Mrs. Melanie. Time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mrs. Melanie.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Everyone can hear my voice?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, it's clear. Alhamdulillah. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very grateful to invited in this seminar. Okay, and also for Mr. Ayodhya for the first key speaker in the first lecture. I think his present really grateful, really great presentation, and I hope my lecture also will give you benefit and also useful in the future. Okay, maybe I have to share about my PPT first. Can I share my presentation slides? Actually, if you
yes, please.
Okay, I can write. Okay. Actually, this is a long time ago for me to not speak English. Actually, it's a long time ago. Actually, more than 6 months. I could not speak English in my university, so I'm very grateful to speak English right now. Okay, this first time, this is my presentation. Wait a minute. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everybody. I start my presentation right now. As the tema will be given me a few days ago. This time I will explain about how to write academic statement. I think for the scholarship hunter itself must be know properly about academic statements, and also some of the company or some of university or some of the country call the academic statement is another name. We call sometimes like the World Bank, we call cover letter. Some of the university in UK also we call like a personal statement. But in the context for academic statement, like cover letter, personal statement, and another names, actually it seems it's just like two letter that sell our skill or our reason to achieve that the opportunity to continue study or to join for company. Okay. Okay, first times maybe I will introduce myself first. Okay, as the moderator first time call me, I'm a lecturer in economy and business faculties in the University of Palembang, University of Muhammadiyah Palembang. Actually, I joined in this university last year because I graduated my master degree also last year. So I'm maybe in junior in my university. Actually, it's not like first speakers really in the research, but for me actually I as the junior right now. Okay, for my achievement also the moderator also already talk about my achievement, and right now I as the teamwork I joined in the management and nation forum for the 2020 until 2021, and also Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, and right now to be founder for Rumah Salawat Palembang. It's like a charity community to give the package of the food freely to the poor people and or to orphans. For the field, just give, and the receiver must just salawat 10 times. This my community I built the last year before I came back from Japan, and it's already like more than 270 days right now. Okay, for this lecture, I just explained for substantial points. Yeah. The first time is what is it? This is like the basics of personal statement, basics of academic statement. What is this? The personal statement, and continue. I will explain about the structure. Structure is contents about what the aspect we have to write in the first paragraph until 6th paragraph, and the next I will tell you some of the tips and tricks for writing personal statement, and the last, of course, I will show you one of example for personal statement. Okay, first the point, we have to know what is the academic statement or motivation letter or personal statement. In the beginning, I already told you that actually academic statement, motivation letter, and personal statement, the concept it seems is just attach your personal skill and the reason for applying for this continuous study or for joining a company. It's like your letter show your skill to the company interested to you to achieve your opportunity to join in this opportunity. This is the academic statement. Everyone must be know. Everyone if you want to continue study in abroad and overseas, I think all of the universities, especially for UK or some of Australia, also must be required to attach academic statement. But in case in Japan itself, I think the personal statement is not very common. In my case, actually, when I entered Kobe, what I entered in Kobe or ADB scholarship, I didn't need the academic statement to attend for the requirement. And so I call it in Japan it's not really familiar for academic statement actually. What is the important point for the Japan? I think that a professor research should be the most important point or the most important letter to enter or to get the scholarship. And academic statement itself, this is the definition I attached in index.com. Yeah, as I know, I told you that's like letter of introductions. You explain about your skill and why your reason for applying a course or volunteer job and etc. And for the personal statement itself, we just have, I think that has the one goal. The one goal is about the confidence point, so that you are suitable for particular job positions. Yeah, it's like transaction. It's like transaction. You give your a skill or reason letter, and if the company interested to you, you will get the opportunities. That's the personal academic statements. Some of the people, I think some of the people sometimes compute academic statement or personal research, or professional research. Some of my friends also gave me some difficult questions about how difference between academic statement or personal proposal research. Actually, it's different. Okay, this is really the basic one. And we next, we next to explain about the structures. So the first point we already explained to you. For the structure, actually, for the format, actually the structure for the personal statement at least 700 words. Some of the students just wrote like one page, not more, or 1.5 pages is enough actually. And also maximum like 1,000 words. The contents of paragraph is like 5 or 6 paragraphs. And of course, for writing the personal statement or academic statement, we have to write in English. And on concept for structures in the personal statement actually contain 5 points. You have to explain about your academic backgrounds, your job, current or previous job, and also social or professional experience, and why you choose that country, of course, for studying, and the importance of your future. This the course importance not in your future and what the impact to your future career. This concept for personal statement itself. Okay, I will explain more about the one by one for paragraph. As you know, I also present in this slide. For the paragraph one or first paragraph, actually we call like introductions. Introductions is content about how you are, your academic background, or overview of your previous and current jobs. And I think that for the current job, it must be in line with your future course. Yeah, for example, if you want to be the economy lecturer, you are maybe a researcher in one economic faculty or not. They have to make a line in your future course. Now, some of the introduction actually must be really interesting. Yeah, you know, like sponsorship, receipt, 1,000, maybe 1,000 personal statements. Now you have to make sponsorship itself really interesting in the first paragraph, because it's like sponsorship must show, I think that show careers what you have to write in the next paragraph or until the last paragraph. You have to make the careers. Some of people write the introduction for personal statement for hooks. Hooks is like the statement make curious in the first time. For example, I think that for example, if you want to write the personal statement, some of people just write like, my name is Pini. I'm applying for this personal statement to enter in this university. It's common, but sometimes make interesting. You have to put the hooks. Hooks, yeah. Hooks is like make the facts and make interesting your sponsorships. A long time ago, when I apply in LSBM, London School of Business and Management in UK, I got unconditional letter for the LSBM. For personal statement, I write for the hooks. The first times I just write, I just write really interesting fact. So I'm like, there is the one such as there is the one interesting quote from one of the great books from Indonesia. We call Laskar Pelangi. Now this make a curious for sponsorships. This you have to do in the first paragraph. You have to make curious sponsorship itself. And for the next paragraph, I divided by the three bodies. The first, the body, you have to explain your future course, your interest, of course. You must be very specific. For example, economic. If you say economic, accounting, management, digital business is economic, related to economics. You should have to make specifics. You have to have specific. For me, actually, when I write the personal statement for economic development policy, I make specific to research about the small medium enterprises clustering. You have to make specific. So this you have to write in the body one. And also in the body one, you have to contain also for your past experience and your actions. Both of them have to relate it to your future course, of course. Either you have to write in the body one. And for the body two, actually you have to write your future plans and positive impact relate to your achievements. It's not only you want to study there, but you have to give, if you study there, what the impact you have to apply or you have to act after you back from your country destination. That you have to write in the body two. And the body three, of course, the action and address their issue. This is body three. And or the next point for the structure after the introductions body, it must be the closing. Now the closing, you have to showing your goal that related the impact what you may give. And also for paragraph 4, it is to summarize all of the points. For the tips and tricks to write the personal statement or academic statement, first of all, you have to make outline concept. It's like brainstorming. So you have the direction. So you have, if you have the direction, you have to really brief to write your personal statement. And you have to make outline concept first. And also the personal statement, you have to the point. And some of scholarship actually have give some question to write the personal statement. Yeah, you have to do the point, not write a lot of things is just wasting your sentence. You have to do the point only. Some of my friends also enter in UK university, just make one page actually to enter in UK for personal statement. That is direct to the point. Okay, and the third, actually, you have to make a strong statement that explains you are contribute to society. You have to show you are the really right candidate. You are really great candidate to achieve that opportunity. And after your graduation, you have you get a really great plannings or great project to contribute to society. So your degree is not only for you, but also your degree is for society. Society, both your country or your future studies destination. You have to already you have to write the strong statement like this. I think this is the crucial point to write the personal statement. Okay, for next point, answer the questions. There are some of the scholarship required for the same questions. As far as I know that like New Zealand scholarships, they give the some question for the candidate to answer the question for the writing the personal statement. Not all of the scholarships are required for this, but some of scholarships, a sponsorship required for this. You have to make sure your scholarship point is required or not. And for the last active statement, yeah, for writing the academic for the academic statement, actually all of the sentences must be active statements, not passive. Yeah, not passive. So it's not dipilih but memilih. Yeah, jadi you have to make sure your sentences. Okay, the point I want to show you my personal statement. This is the personal statement I wrote last year when I want to enter in the summer school in Austria. Okay, it's not scholarship. It is summer school scholarship. I got it, but I didn't go there because the coronavirus. So the summer school was canceled. For the paragraph 1, 3 points we have to make. 3 the point we have to attention. Who you are, academic background, and overview of your previous and current jobs. So this is the red line, and this is the red line for the who you are. So I explain in paragraph 1 who you are. My name is Dwi Marini, and I'm from Indonesia. And academic backgrounds, I wrote in the green lines. I told the sponsorship that I was master degree student majoring in economic development and politics at Kobe University, graduate school of international cooperation studies in Japan. And the last point to you have to show the overview of your previous and current jobs. That's for the blue lines. Yeah, I told the sponsorship that besides as the student at my current jobs, previous job, I asked the academic staff also in Muhammadiyah University. I explained this one. Current job, not only as student, but also I'm also researchers, yeah, under Professor Nobuaki Hamaguchi Sensei, in the Research Institute in Economic and Business at Kobe University. So this for the three point I mentioned all in the first paragraph. For paragraph 2, also for the body ones, just have to mention relevant your future goals, your interest. You have to be specific, don't forget, and your past experience that related to your action. This I mentioned in the blue lines. Blue lines did my actions before the master degree. I taught students in University of Muhammadiyah in formal area, and also I also teach the community we call step structural community as the non-formal area. Now, this I also mentioned my interest for the red lines. I have super attention to build proper situation for poor family with realizing them how important education is. So for the summer school, I actually the summer school subject is talk about must be development studies. I make consent in the inequality and economic development. One of the way to solve that the issue, the first time first, I solve the issue is about the education. So the first interest to the summer school in Austria I applied the last year is to build proper situation for family with realizing them how important education is. You have to mention this one. So after that, for the body two, your future plan, positive impact relates to your achievement. I mentioned the broad lines. As my interest in the inequality actually for the women to get this education to develop their economy level. As my concern, I hope to get knowledge to the summer school that one to improve participatory women development. This I mentioned in the next paragraph actually. And also for the body three, there's my action and address the issue. After I get the summer school, I mentioned that I goes to the some actions such as particularly those locked out of public life or unaccustomed to participating in village level decision-making forum then slowly grow in skill and the number to collectively influence how the priorities are set and how money is spent. That's my actions after I get the knowledge for the summer school. You have to mention body three in paragraph 2. For the closing, actually, you have to also mention your goal that related to impact what you may give. And this one, I give that, I mentioned that for my actions before, I think that the property rejections predictably will get positive impact. And I make supporting statements that based on the data for the labor department in Indonesia, you know that working women participants in pro family just 42%. This means that 58%, the portion of women is not work. After we get the education and we have to get development skill for the woman, we have to we of course create skilled woman labor to develop their economic level. That I mentioned in the closing statement to solve the issue and the impact after I get knowledge from the summer school. Okay, the last paragraph 5 is summarize all the points. So I just mentioned. So after I mentioned body 1, 2, 3 and closing, I mentioned that I have acquired and coupled with my passion for international development. That's all. They have the simple closing statement. You have to, don't forget, you have to write kindest regard. Sincerely, you have to write this one. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the long speaking. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much for the lecture. For sure, guys, like academic statement or motivation letter or whatever, it is an important part if you're applying for university or jobs and so on. So you should aware and take a good attention to it. And yeah, as Mrs. Finney mentioned in his presentation, like about her tips and tricks, like applying the concept to the point and the strong statement. That is important, a good attention to it. So again, thank you so much for the good lecture, Mrs. Vinny. May all of us get the value and benefit from your lecture. Okay, guys, before we go to the next, agenda, I would like to inform you, if you have any question or something to ask from our presenter, so you could just put it in the chat box, whether it is in the YouTube or on the Zoom. And as time we go to the Q&A session, we will read it and the presenter will respond to it. So, okay, that's it. Let's go to the next agenda. That is the third lecture from our transformational speaker. That is Mr. Syed Muhammad Ridho. A little intro. Mr. Syed Muhammad Ridho is a master's student at double degree program in Al Mustafa International University in Tehran. And he also currently active in Department of Strategic Studies and Action of IPI Iran on this period. So, okay, let's just go to Mr. Syed Muhammad Ridho. So, okay, Mr. Syed, time is yours.
Kalaras, may you help me to share my presentation?
Okay.
Hello, everyone. So in this afternoon, I will guide you to conclude the study from the first and the second speaker. So it is the conclusion about how to rate the academic English to get the scholarship and research, especially in Al Mustafa International University. So the first paragraph, I mentioned about how I should be going to get the scholarship. So I mentioned nowadays. Nowadays it means the current research or presentation about the fact about what I want to get into it. So it is the sample I enrolled to Al Mustafa International University. So this research, it's concerned about the psychology. So the first one I mentioned about the mental research confirm a vastly growing, but in normative psychometric associate digging into normative acute physical and mental health problem properly. So in this paragraphs, I mentioned about the research is really growing, but the normative and psychological associate digging normative acute psychological mental health problem. So it's not properly the research and the fact of the reality and the hospitality. And but a percentage of healing showing not maximum. So it is a really correlate about why I enroll this research in the university, because I know that the research is really growing, but the reality and application in the university and the hospital is not maximum. So as the country, Indonesia, I correlate with Indonesia in Iran. Why I want to study in Iran? Because Iran has the same case about the colonialism and mental reactions. And many criminal cases is in the fact that of the mental reaction and disposition of a personality is growing so fast. So in the second paragraph, I mentioned about the capacity of protecting psychological recidivism and enhance my ability in this symptom. So you should mention that what can the capability to protect your research and enhance your ability. And the second, I already got my professor in Al Mustafa International University because it is the research topic. I apply for professor first, and my professor is Mohammed Musavi. So Muhammad Abu Safi is the expert of psychology in Islam in Western course. Even the psychology is a general term. In Western course, especially, the psychology is really growing of research. But why I choose Iran? Why Iran is the country I choose, not in the Western or in the East? Because Iran is combined of the Islamic psychology and the Western course of the psychology. If you know about the Islamic terms or the scholar of Islam, his name is Ibn Sina. So Ibn Sina was born in Iran. In the few decades, they published about book about the mental health as well. It will guide to comprehend my subject completely. So is the reason why I choose apply to professor first, not to a university, because I want to comprehend my subject. So every detail of your letter, you should mention why you doing that in the first time, not in the second time. Because if I mentioned I want to enter the university, not the professor first, it's in this correct about the regular basic of the research. And I mentioned here, he is the expert of personal psychology in Western course, and personal psychology is regular basic of self-awareness and separate psychological reaction. So the reactions of the psychology is regular basic. And in the last of the chapter, I mentioned more about furthermore. What is it mean furthermore? A furthermore is mean that you, a father, or continuing but more fast in the degree of the research of the filer and identify the psychology of personality disorder. And the third paragraph, I give the university of the reason why I choose the university and my degree. So I choose the reason in the university, I choose the double degree programs. And firstly, IR is Islamic Republic of Iran, high standard and process of research in the world. So Iran is under research in the psychology is in the 20 degrees of the research in the world. So that's why I choose Iran. Why Iran is the place that I want to perform my research, because it's combinations of the Islamic and Western research. And I mentioned here about the fact, so you should not mention about the experience, about the clarification of the university or the country overlooked, because you should mention about the description and the mental melt or the research do you want to choose or apply in the country or university based on the fact. So I mentioned here, Iran is experiencing colonialism as well. So it's the same condition with Indonesia. That's why I choose Iran. And in the crisis untreated conceptual mental health descriptions and verification. And Iran really complete the instrumental research, because Iran is the maximum research of Iran is really excellence and potential of research, because Iran have the ability to perform the research based on the country and support for the government. And the last chapter, in the last paragraph, I mentioned about why I choose the country and why I choose the country and where my contribution after I studied in the University of Iran. So I want to build my contribution to the Indonesian branch of Al Mustafa International University. We call it Sadra Institute. So I will build the new major of psychology in this university. So it's really correlate what you want to do in the university and what you should do for promoting and share your knowledge, and what should you give the model or standard do you want to give to the country you want to contribute your knowledge. And I already mentioned before about the case and the hospital and advantage of the homicide or the protection of health problems. And I mentioned again in the last line, it will make the percentage of life in low cost of treatment. So I want to reduce the percentage of cost, and I want to enhance the percentage of life, because I already mentioned before in the first paragraph, the research is already growing, but the treatment is more slowed down because the cost is high and the diagnosis is misleading. So hopefully Indonesia will testing better medical treatment, especially in the first line, to compress error diagnosis in case multi-practice can be reduced. It's my compilation for me to give you the example in the university, in the country, and enroll how the way you should write about the study programs. And it is the conclusion of the second and the first presentation. So I hope you will get how to write more about the standard and the excellent and maximum result of your study programs in the future. And the potential research, it's based on what you read and what you want to perform in the university or the country based on your research. Thank you.
Thank you so much presentation, Mr. Mr. Shaib. It was a good lecture from you, so may all of us get the benefit from it. Okay, Mr. Shaib, I would like you to help me to, for this Q&A session. Yeah, I think there's some people here in the Zoom meeting that want to ask question. Okay, all right.
So I want to read this question from our group and the International Research of Tehran University and Al Mustafa International University. So the question is for Miss Vinny. So Miss, may you help me why it is really important to write the academic English and better research for Enroll, the research project in the university?
Sorry, can you repeat? I cannot hear.
Okay. Why we should learn the academic English and get the best result of academic English to apply or enroll the university in this letter.
For this letter, why we should study about the academic English.
Yeah.
That's the part here. Actually, for the academic English is different to regular English, such as like your English daily speaking is different, isn't it? Is this right? For in my case, actually, in my Kobe University, in the first year, we should study about academic writing course. The professor is from Canada. I think the professor she was the Canadian. Why is it really important? Because in this academic writing is like professional letter. I mean, professional writing to show you are professional to write your thesis or write your letter. You got my point?
Yeah, I got it.
That I think that why it is important because it seems like your professional statement, professional statement. Yeah, because it's different between the daily speakings. So you should study about the academic writing.
So is the second question for Ayudhya. So we should enroll for professor first or in the university first? Mr. Ayuda still here? Okay. Ms. Fini, may you help us to answer what we should apply first? Enroll to our professor, to looking for the professor or the university first?
Okay, actually, in my case, for ADB, you should look for your sensei first, your professor first, before you apply the scholarship. But maybe some of the required from another university is different. I don't know, but for ADB, you should. We call like there's the one letter we call letter of consent. That the letter contains that the professor take responsibility to this student if the student accept the scholarship. We call letter of consent. If you don't have the letter of consent, you cannot apply for ADB. For my case, I think for my case and my conversation to another awardee in Japan, I really recommend to you to get the professor first before you apply for scholarships. It's like sporting points, and it's like how to say kartu as, yeah, kartu as. So if you have the professor, the scholarship, no, you are I think that your preparation is must be perfect because you already get the professional. You just study like this. In Japan case, yeah, just in Japan, I think.
So anyone here want to ask a question to our speaker? Especially to enroll the study in Kobe University or in Songkyungkwan University in South Korea or in Al Mustafa International University in Iran. Mr. Yudi?
Wait. Yeah.
Question for our speaker because you are in on medical science of Tehran University in research.
Well, I have nothing to say actually, but yeah. Okay, I read his presentation like she point his motivation letter. That was so great. I mean, yeah, I just want to ask Miss Finney, like, are you also like having a teacher or someone that correct your motivation letter or something like that, or do you have a tips and trick or something to have a good writing standard or something like that?
Okay, actually, I had once my
Miss Vinny.
Yeah. Actually, during I was writing my personal statement. Actually, I have one teacher to correct my English and correct my concept. My friends from from Monash University, he study about the English department. So I think that she must be really competent to English structure or English vocabulary. So it's not required, but I recommend to you to, if you write the personal statement or another like proposal research or something like that, you must have the person to correct your English. You have, yeah, I think that you have to have one to correct English.
So I want give more information because
Thank you.
I have a guidance also or as well. Mr. Ayuda Pradip Chattanggara is my guidance to write this letter because I got a recommendation letter from him to enroll my scholarship project in Tehran in Al Mustafa International University because he is really expert and he is going his PhD in few years ago. So I text him to give me the correct one. What is the correct one to enroll this university, and what should I apply to my professor? And I got one, and I invite him to give you the lesson today because it's already helped me to get my scholarship in Islamic Republic of Iran.
Okay, okay. Thank you for a great answer. Yeah, I also want to share an experience. Before I entered this, Tehran University of Medical Science. So I also did the same. Like I asked my English teacher to like fix my English in my motivation letter and something like that. And as you know, like after I got like it is corrected, and I just like, oh my God. So there are actually so much like what's the name, the writing, the writing English that is different. I mean, from the how to say, I mean the speaking one and the written one is different. And also there is different if it is for the university or for job or something like that. So yeah, so it is kind of a good point. Like we have to have someone to guide us to write a good like terminology or grammatical for the motivation letter. So okay, I think that's all for the Q&A session. Okay, wait, Mr. Shahid, do you have any kind of something to say?
Actually, is the last question.
Before we go to the next agenda.
Actually, I have one question from my friend in what is it? The country? China. From China. So,
Yeah.
what?
Okay. So yeah.
Depends. The pathology expert, and is it correct to write our letter in English or our own bahasa first, or our mother tongue first? Ms. Pini, may you help us?
Okay. As I was saying in my lecture is, first of all, you have to make brainstorming, or you have to make a concept outline. Because we are not mother language in English, it's prefer to write in Indonesian first. After that, you have to translate in English. It's better. It's better. It's not directly to English. For in my case, in my as far as I wrote my personal letter or my proposal research, I must write English. Indonesian first. After that, I translate. Or like the scholarship, I want to tell you that scholarship systems like in Korea, we call KGSP, Korean Government Scholarships, or it's possible for you if you good in the Korean language, you write your personal statement also in Korean language. It's better also. I think it's better also. If you know their own language, you write in their own language is better. But if you cannot the mother language, so just Indonesian first. After that, you translate to English. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fini.
Okay, so what about now, Mr.
Closing statement, Mr. Yodi.
Shaif? Do you have any other question?
Sina. Closing statement, Mr. Yodi.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for all the answer, Miss Fini. And yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't ask a question to Mr. Ayodhya because unfortunately he already left. So thank you so much, Ms. Fini, for answering for sure. Okay, let's wrap this webinar to the next agenda, that is the closing statement. So actually, the closing statement should be from our President IPI Iran, that is Mr. Ani Muhammad Hari, but there is something that make him couldn't come. So Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridho will change it. So he will have the closing statement. So for Mr. Shaib Muhammad Ridho, time is yours.
Okay, thanks for attending this webinar. And I, representative of our president in Indonesian Association of Islamic Republic of Iran, we give you more information about the scholarship, especially in Islamic Republic of Iran. Please enjoy and stay tuned in our media, especially in website and Instagram and Facebook of IPI Iran, because we share daily basics of scholarship and the information how to enroll and how to get the information. And if you want to conduct our presenter, our great lectures, you can get the information and our poster of this webinar and IPI Iran poster. We already tagged them in our media. And the second, we hope that you can study in all over the world, especially in Islamic Republic of Iran, and whatever the major, because we already provide you the information of study in the Islamic Republic of Iran. And a few years ago, the information of Iran, it's really transparent to enroll the scholarship, even the government of Iran scholarship or university scholarship, especially in research project, because in research projects, the funding is a fully funded scholarship. And the last of all, I want to give you the last statement. Writing English or writing the academic statement is really easy, but the worst one or the difficult one is how to write flowly. Because if you want to write the academic English, you should
Okay, I think we have a connection problem with Mr. Shaib. Just a second. Yeah. Yeah, he got connection problem. So I will just close this kind of great webinar today. Before I close it, I would like to really appreciate thanks to all of the presenter today. Thank you for all the experience and the
Hello?
the experience and like assign how to write it. So okay, Mr. Shaib is coming, so let's have some stuff. Okay, Mr. Shaib.
I think it's enough. I already mentioned all the presentation of the representative of President of Iran. Yod?
Okay, so yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for the closing statement. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your coming and your nice attention. And let's close our good meeting today with Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. And the last, I would like to apologize if there is any mistake or anything in this webinar. And okay, yeah, goodbye everyone. Take care of yourself. Stay happy and stay healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Vini.
Terima kasih, Miss